G'day folks, let's talk about incels. They've had a lot of attention in the media for the last few years, and for good reason, but what is an incel? Well, it's short for involuntary celibate, so basically they're people who can't seem to attract others sexually, and it's usually young straight men that fall into this category. Like pretty much everyone, they took to the internet to form support groups as early as 1990. But more recently, some of the biggest incel communities have been based on Reddit. There they would post self-deprecating memes, lament their sexless situations, refer to people that did have sex as Chads or Stacys, and refer to themselves as black-pilled. That last part is obviously a reference to that scene in The Matrix where Neo takes the red pill, and these incels pretty much believe that they can see through the entirety of reality with their genius. Presumably these subreddits started as places where incels could just meet like-minded people and take comfort in the fact that they weren't alone. But it really didn't take long for that to become a festering pit of hate, misogyny, self-pity, entitlement, and promotion of violent and sexual crimes. Just a quick warning, some of the content on these subreddits is pretty dark. I won't go into ridiculous detail on all of the posts, but it does get pretty messed up. Let's start at the start. r/TrueCells was created in early 2016, and it was pretty much the first big incel subreddit. There are a lot of common themes between these subreddits and the posts that you see in them, and the first one that I want to talk about is entitlement to sex. The incels in these subreddits genuinely believe that sex is a human right, and women refusing to have sex with them is basically a hate crime that they should be punished for. TrueCells regularly posted content like this, where they not only defended rape on the grounds that it was supposedly no different from petty theft, but they also advocated for the legalization of it. Luckily, the mod team addressed the issue, and they posted this set of rules. Just so we're all on the same page, they were saying that while you can't promote rape in their subreddit, it was perfectly fine to defend it, glorify it, and victim blame. But hey, well, TrueCells didn't just defend rapists, they also defended pedophiles. Oh, my mistake, they were pedophiles. They didn't like age of consent laws. They said they were moronic and thought the age of consent should be lowered to 10. They said they would marry an 11-year-old girl. They claimed that women use makeup to hide signs of their aging, and without it, everyone would be a pedophile, because apparently 15 is the perfect age for a woman. I'm sure I don't need to point it out, but at 15, you're not a woman, you're still a child. They thought that men should be able to marry girls before puberty so they could watch their wives grow. Okay, I promise that the next Reddit video I do will be less disgusting, but let's just wade through this human cesspool first, yeah? You will be shocked to discover that TrueCells was quarantined less than a year after its creation in early 2016, and r/Incels was waiting with open arms to accept all of those lonely folks who just wanted to bond over their inability to get laid. They obviously wouldn't want to repeat the mistakes of the subreddit that just got quarantined for hateful content. The posts were the same, the themes were the same. A lot of them posted about this just general hatred towards women. Like, we're talking a real, visceral hatred for women just existing. Today I saw a woman crying her eyes out and almost couldn't control my laughter. Such life fuel, women crying makes me happy. Shit like this is rampant in online incel communities. They will relentlessly bully, attack, and harass women online, but cannot handle a single speck of it in return without throwing a tantrum. You know why that woman was crying? Her niece died. And this guy had a smirk on his face the whole time. Luckily, this guy got downvoted, but here he is talking about how black-pilled it is to hate women and actively avoid helping them in any way. Oh, and you thought we were done promoting rape? Well, r/Incels certainly wasn't. Apparently, a good brother should help you do this to his underage girlfriend. Once again, Reddit caught wind of this sub's deplorable content and promptly banned it. And so the internet rejoiced because incels and their hateful bullshit were gone forever. Alright, so they didn't take the hint after the first two failed attempts, but hey, third time's the charm, right? r/BrainCells was created just before incels got banned, and it was basically another refugee sub for everyone to jump ship to. So now we're back to the start again. What's changed about their content this time? Well, there's more of it. Brain cells became the most popular incel subreddit with over 40,000 subscribers by late 2018. Once again, they felt entitled to sex, comparing it to basic needs such as shelter. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't often hear stories about incels dying from lack of sex. They still hate women, just for daring to exist without also having sex with them. Oh, and they came up with another nickname. They call women femoids because they don't really see them as human. Apparently, the world would be better without them, despite the fact that physical proximity to a woman is basically the only goal of most people in this subreddit. Women also ruin everything and are subhuman animals. Now, I know those weren't unique, but here's something that is. Brain cells actually started out with a female moderator. She went by bored_gaming, and if the fact that she was a woman wasn't bad enough, then buckle your seatbelts. She also wasn't into incel culture. Apparently, she also regularly posted content to the subreddit Incel Tears, which was dedicated to mocking incels. Now, predictably, brain cells couldn't handle this at all. They mocked her appearance, they called her a Nazi, they were a little bit obsessed with the possibility that she was autistic, and inexplicably, they still really wanted to have sex with her. Thankfully, on September 30th, 2019, Reddit finally banned r/brain cells. Now, that was some of their most infamous moments, but that was far from all of their awful content. All of these subreddits cling to the notion that women are super shallow. They believe that any good-looking man, or Chad, can get sex with a woman just by nature of being good-looking. And as an extension of that belief, they think that not having those conventional good looks means it's impossible to get laid. They reject the idea that someone's personality might play just a tiny role when you're deciding whether or not you're gonna have sex with that person, which is really more of a reflection on them than it is on women. Like, these guys clearly only think that looks are that important in that decision because they have such objectionable personalities, and because they're so desperate that personality doesn't matter to them at all. Even when they're willing to concede that women are in fact people and not all incel destructobots, they still think that this basic human compassion only applies to good-looking men. They're so hung up on the idea that kindness can't exist without sex that they refuse to respect or even just not degrade women who won't fuck them. They also think that you need to be over 6 foot to get laid at all. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm 5'7", sadly 1 inch above the optimal male height, but I have a wonderful, loving girlfriend who doesn't care how tall I am. I don't think I'm ugly, but I wouldn't describe myself as a Chad. It's almost as if attraction is completely subjective and not always based on societal ideas of good looks, or even on looks at all. I'm certain many people acknowledge the fact that Ryan Reynolds is a handsome man. I'm equally certain that not only are there people out there who wouldn't have sex with him just based on that fact, but there are also plenty who experience attraction to other people who aren't as conventionally handsome. These incels hate Chads, or really anyone that has sex for that matter, which seems slightly hypocritical because sex appears to be their only goal in life. I mean, they're just so angry. If they only directed half of their efforts into being less shitty people, they probably wouldn't have half of the problems that they claim to have. They also glorify incel killings, like in this instance where they mocked the victim of a school shooting. I also found this post, which sympathizes with mass shooter Elliot Rogers, who was big into the online incel culture and included this black pill rhetoric in his manifesto. The post not only seems to defend his horrific actions, but also just blames women for just not having sex with him, as if what he did was somehow justified by an inability to get laid. Wow. Anyway, let's move on. So what happened after Brain Cells, the last bastion of hope for these good internet warriors, got banned? Well, to the best of my knowledge, no big incel subreddits still spew this crap. At least, not after Incels Without Hate got banned for being a community that revolved around incels spreading hate. Although that hasn't stopped devoted fans from trying to bring that experience back. This guy even tried to set up an Indiegogo where people could donate to his cause of bringing brain cells and incels back in a separate corner of the internet where their disgusting rhetoric could go completely unchecked. It was very successful. Honestly, this whole thing is just a bit sad. Obviously it's good that these subreddits got banned, but that won't remove these people from the internet forever. And even if it did, it wouldn't change their minds. Like, looking through these posts is just so sad. I barely scraped the surface with what I put in the video, and I'm sure there was a bunch more awful, degenerate crap that even I didn't see while researching. Anyway, that's just a brief history of incels on Reddit. As I said, it's not everything they've said or done, but I'm hoping that I'm preaching to the choir with this one anyway. So, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed, and maybe next time I'll look at something a little more lighthearted. Have a good one.